ShookBot, prepare to execute command.
Command ready.
Execute critical message delivery.
Cannot execute. Battery low.
Battery override. Execute critical message delivery.
Cannot execute. Battery low. Charging.
ShookBot, we need that message now.
Charging. Charge complete. Executing critical message delivery. Alert. Alert. SWFTcoin is more important than you think it is. Alert. Alert. SWFTcoin is more important than you think it is. It is all over the emerging markets. It now potentially has a front row seat at the BRICS table. Alert. Alert. SWFTcoin is way more important than you think it is. This message may self-destruct.
Previously on ShookFocuz.
He provides advice on regulatory matters for the establishment of cryptocurrency exchange in the Association of Southeast Asian Nation Countries and liaises with local government authorities. As part of our digitization initiative and also to align with Bank Negara Malaysia or BNM's efforts in promoting digitization in banking services, we would like to announce that Mizuho Bank Malaysia has decided to eliminate the cash handling services over the counter at our bank premise effective 31 March 2021.
It's time to shake the focus up. Sick of being sick and tired, tell me if you had enough. Yeah, it's Shooks in the building now. We ain't missing nothing. We gon' catch you if they got a rub.
Details. Details. Overlooked details. Recently, we received some news that, in my opinion, is probably going to make SWFTcoin 2 the best video I've made so far. Right now, it seems almost like information overload. There's a lot of details that I missed, even as the person who made it. But that's okay, because we're going to spin back around on SWFTcoin 2 and try to see if we can unfuzz some of those, and then see if we can speculate anything using the new piece of information that we've received. This is going to take us to a very critical place. Kuala Lumpur, capital of Malaysia. How did we get here? Remember, we found the Mizuho Malaysian Division Bank address registered on the BNM website. Again, BNM stands for Bank Negara Malaysia. It's the Central Bank of Malaysia. But yes, this tells us that Mizuho has a banker office registered in the capital of Malaysia. And we can see that here, as well as we can take a look at the map and see that it's also there. Takes on a slightly different look when you use a satellite view. So what's the significance? Well, remember, Mizuho is important because that's who SWFTcoin approached. Also, from SWFTcoin 2, we had these documents, plus a couple of articles from SWFTcoin 1, which kind of started it all. The crazy thing, y'all, is that this was actually laid out in a linear fashion, and even I missed it. It's crazy. In SWFTcoin 1, we had the establishment of Swift Japan. Take a look at the date on the article here, February of 2018. And in that, we see that Swift Japan Co. was established in January of 2018. Now, if we go further down here, that's when we see that Mizuho had the conversation with SWFTcoin. But the picture does not have a date in the caption. We can, however, see that also in January, a day later, they got invited to the Chinese Chamber of Commerce Spring Festival in Japan, Tokyo. So I'm making what I believe is a safe assumption that this picture fits somewhere within the timeline. That's not the most important thing here, though. It's critical that we see Chinese Chamber of Commerce because it implies Chinese representatives from me. So we have China and Japan. That's super important, y'all. Watch this. So all that went down, and we'll say Q1 of 2018. If you can't remember anything else from that, just remember Swift Japan 2018. This is going to be just a quick stop here, and then we're going to come back. But keep this in mind. This agreement was also made in 2018. And when we hit this one again, it should bring it all home for us. Up next, we got this one. The elimination of cash handling services over the counter. This is Mizuho Bank, Malaysia. Yeah, we getting there. And when did this take place? That's right, in 2021, after SwiftCoin had already had that meeting with the president of Mizuho Bank Tokyo in 2018. So we have proof of Malaysia beginning to go cashless at least sometime after that meeting. Then the next document on the table, the one from the BIS website 2022, again, this is actually linear. We have to scroll down here a little bit. Keep in mind though, this article is from 2022, that data is from prior. Look at the increase in digital payments from 2020 to 2021. Which we can see that this cashless push was actually happening in 2021. These articles give us so much that I just didn't emphasize. This is what happens when you're tired and you're writing at 2 o'clock in the morning. Y'all smash that like button. But look, what did they say? One of the remaining systems was Mizuho Global e-banking system that supports Rentas. Now, let's get back over here. This one says they don't have any immediate plans to issue a CBDC, but in the next paragraph, it confirms that they're exploring it. Remember, this is the Central Bank of Malaysia. Check out this proof of concept. Phase 2 says exploring innovative solutions using CBDC and DLT to enhance and future-proof Rentas. So, of course, Mizuho was going to keep it. They trying to future-proof it. Now, if I remember correctly, before I wasn't able to directly tie BNM to the BIS, but actually we could through what's in Phase 1, Project Dunbar. Project Dunbar is a project led by the BIS Innovation Hub in partnership with the Reserve Bank of Australia, Central Bank of Malaysia, and Monetary Authority of Singapore, also the South African Reserve Bank. Of those, we know that SWIFT has ties to at least Singapore. The project was testing a common shared platform. Look at this description of SWIFT blockchain. Next generation, worldwide, that's cross-border. You can't go across the world without crossing borders. Then you have the all-chain bridge that, from what we've seen, I think can safely be described as a common shared platform. So what do we have here? What does all this mean? It means we about to get into the back half of this video and it's about to get crazy. Yeah, I'm talking about crazy. You have been given the opportunity to leave, but you chose to stay in the car anyway, so let's ride. The first half of this trip was really just to set the timeline of those events because it's about to come full circle. We had SwiftCoin launch in Japan, then approach Mizuho, which is the third largest bank in Japan by assets. Then we had Mizuho Bank in Malaysia eliminate over-the-counter cash. The why they provided just passed the blame to the central bank. Following that, we found documentation about Malaysia testing a cashless economy under Project Dunbar. But now, the heat begins. Let's talk about that front row seat that ShookBot mentioned. I bet you didn't think you would see this again. Most of these images that we focused on are turning out to be so critical, because this one in particular led us to the Mori clan, which led us to Kazutaka Mori, and we came back here because of the details. Right off the bat, we got 3 things that he has in common with SwiftCoin: Japan, Singapore, cross-border, and pause, because it's the Focus Army. Let me sneak in a 4th. This is from a Web3 Singapore 2023 web event. Take a look at who's in attendance. Kazutaka Mori, Web3 lawyer, Web3. He now has 4 things in common with SwiftCoin when we add in MetaPath. Let's scroll down, because the door is about to come off. He provides advice on regulatory matters for the establishment of cryptocurrency exchange in association of Southeast Asian nation countries and liaises with local government authorities. There's so much more right here, but we gotta keep moving because we gotta finish this. Because he's not the focus of this video. He's just a clue here. We just recently received news that Malaysia could be preparing to join BRICS. That provided by Reuters. Then another article from the Star. Joining BRICS the right thing for Malaysia to do. And in this we have some key information. Thailand submitted a formal request to join BRICS and is hoping to do so in October of this year. That's 2024. And that would make it the first country from the association to do so. But Malaysia joining BRICS would be even more significant because it will hold the chairmanship next year. What does that mean? Well, the chairman rotates on a yearly basis. The member state assuming chairmanship chairs the association summit and related summit, the association coordination council, the 3 association community councils, relevant secretarial ministerial bodies and senior officials, and the committee of permanent representatives. In addition, the Secretary General of the association is appointed by the summit, selected among member states in alphabetical rotation. In other words, they're in charge. So, if it turns out that Mizuho is actually using Swift, and they have a branch in the capital of Malaysia, and Malaysia joins BRICS, Swift would have a front row seat at the table. And that would make it sound to me like I gotta say it again. This is the most important image surrounding the whole project. Because it's not just some diagram. This is borderline a plan. Everywhere that SwiftCoin goes, a CBDC test or cashless push seems to also exist. Right? We've talked about Singapore when it comes to SwiftCoin. Take a look at what the BIS had to say about it in 2017. Described Singapore as one of the most cashless payment intensive countries in the world. And then one that I've kind of said without saying, but Japan. Mizuho failed to mention that in its report. when it passed the buck over to the Central Bank of Malaysia and made the date effective March 31st, 2021, which coincidentally happens to be right in front of the cutoff for when Japan started testing CBDCs in 2021. So Mizuho failed to mention what was going on back home. And right now, we see that the current phase is taking the regular and unbanked in the emerging markets to a cashless era. Man, look, I gotta be honest, I don't know how long this video is right now, but it's probably around our typical limits. But we surpassing limits today. And for that, I'm bringing in a reference to Dovu. I have done several videos on Dovu by now. Should be doing more. But Dovu showed us with carbon credits that you can tokenize anything. They turn carbon credits into NFTs. What's this other half and probably most important half of SwiftCoin? MetaPath. MetaPath focuses in on the metaverse and NFT aspect. If you can tokenize something like carbon, then that means you can tokenize anything. A car, physical land, a house, loan it to you. And if those are turned into NFTs, MetaPath and Swift blockchain can handle the swaps for pennies on the dollar. But wait a minute. All those sounds like things that a bank would normally. Here come the questions. What type of entity would need to sign off on this agreement? In just this video, SwiftCoin has forced us to take a look at China, Japan, Malaysia, and by way of Project Dunbar, Australia, and South Africa. And then if I was to go over to Maximus Crypto and find out that there's this thing called the Swift connector, which is a flexible software component that can be used to interlink various types of digital networks to enable cross-network interoperability. And then I was to slide over to Black Rue's Crypto Rue podcast and find out that Swift has been working with Chainlink. And I happen to know that Chainlink is compatible with Swift blockchain. That would almost make me think that SwiftCoin is.
So we actually do have people trying to understand things that are, but it's wrong to say that we're working on a CBDC and that we've secretly got a lab here where we've got one and we're just going to spring it on Congress at the right moment. We don't.
Until next time, don't get shook. Stay focused. And I'm out.